welcome back to the channel. In this episode, I'm going to show you what my UK tropical garden looks like in the middle of October. So let's get straight into the video. Regular viewers will know, of course, this is a series of videos. I do one of these every month, and this month's does actually complete the first year of videos. So do have a little look back through the playlist after you've watched this one. But let's start with my sunny border over in the corner there. So it's been a relatively warm September and October, and although tonight's low temperature is forecast as being 15 degrees Celsius, by the weekend it should drop to 2 degrees. So the bananas are looking shredded and they are pushing out new leaves, but we'll see how that 2 degrees treats them. I think they'll be fine, and I'm not planning on wrapping them until November or December. I would love to keep the height on those next year. I have done last year's overwintering video, but this year's might be slightly different because they have gotten a couple of feet taller. Elsewhere in this bed, these cannas have done well on the height but haven't pushed any flowers out, and my tetrapanax, this was seed grown last year, and because it's had to fight its way to the top, it has put on a lot of growth. If I look under there at the stem, it's kind of semi-woody, but I do think on a hard frost I will lose this tetrapanax stem as it's not fully matured. Yeah, there are other things in the border. The Rudbeckia are past the best. I'll leave these on the seed heads. I don't need any more self-seeding around the garden. There's the Persicaria, red dragon, absolutely swarming through the bed. And one really positive note actually is that the passion flowers are still flowering. The pollinators are still enjoying those. Let's talk about the middle borders now, the one that curves around there in front of the path. The first thing I want to say is my Trachycarpus fortunei. I have done a few videos on this one in the past, and you can see there it has put on a nice bit of growth. See, that section there is all new height and growth, and the fronds are a lot longer than they were last year. And I am going to leave these tatty fronds on my Trachycarpus just because I like that kind of unkept natural look, and I would have eventually liked to have a full skirt of spent fronds hanging down from the trachy. You can see my two tall grasses at the back here. The Miscanthus giganteus has done really well. It's huge, 12 feet at least, as is the Arundodontax. But the Arundodontax did collapse on itself in some high winds. It's not as sturdy at the minute as the Miscanthus, but I would like to know from you, from anyone who grows both of these, the difference in growing habits, because I've found the Miscanthus, it's a more elegant grass. I do like the colour of the stems that sort of go a little bit pinky in autumn, whereas the Arundodontax is a little bit more awkward looking to me. But I'm interested in your thoughts anyway. Now the twin Fatsia japonicas either side of the jungle stream and waterfall are heading into their flowering stage. You can see there some flowers are forming. Another one here, and yeah, Fatsia flowers are one of the highlights of the autumn in my garden. Nymphophea, the red hot pokers, are well done. They're finished back in June. And other things to look at. In this border, I have dug out most of my tetrapanax pups. I have made a few videos, if you look back on my channel, about this tetrapanax. This was the first one in the ground. Put it in last year, died back to the ground. There's the old stem that is now fully gone. That's it. Hey, maybe I'll save that root actually. And maybe I can plant that root up. Let me know if you think I can plant this root and grow another tetrapanax. But anyway, these two, I've left 2 in, and I've dug up about 10. and potted them up. So we'll see how these fare. One plant that I think I will probably have to move inside before the weekend is my Musa Dwarf Cavendish. It's done really well, actually. It did live previously on my bathroom windowsill, and I put it in the ground in spring, and it had a shock initially, and it has recovered. Yeah, so I'm going to have to dig this one up and overwinter it back in the house. And these amaranthus have done really well. There's a pointy finger. It doesn't really look like a pointy finger to me. And I can't remember the name of these ones, but these were all seed grown this year. I will be collecting the seed. And I don't think I'm going to sow them in pots. I think I'll just spread them around the borders and let them self-seed. Because in my experience, amaranthus are really good at self-seeding. I'm going to move around in this part of the border here. I'm going to pass the Achillea. I'm going to pass the echinacea that are kind of not looking too great, but I will be collecting the seed onto this part here. So one real successful self-seeder in my garden, and as I'm sure it is in yours, is a nasturtium, absolutely covered everywhere. And if you're new to exotic gardening or gardening in general and you just don't like bare soil, I would recommend at this time of year going round, getting all these nasturtium seeds and chucking them in the border and letting them do their thing next year. And alternatively, if you don't like nasturtiums and you don't like self-seeders, go and pick up those seeds now. This is one of several Sonchus I've been growing this year from seed. Sonchus parmensis, this one. I will be digging this one up as well before the weekend, and that will be overwintered in the greenhouse. And I'm now up onto the decking, and you can see there's a view of the middle border on the decking. The decking is not looking pretty. Onto the other half of the middle border. I've got my young trachea here. I've got another tetrapanax. It's not my favourite part of the garden, this one, and it does need a little bit of thinking next year to thin out all these Verbena bonariensis. One nice thing at the minute is the Euphorbia wolfenii. Nice colour, nice glaucous colour on that this time of year. And it is one of the first things that flowers in this garden. And then I've got my little Camerops humilis down there. It has done pretty well actually in the ground, and it's just hidden. You can see not much of a trunk on it, but it's the only one that survived last winter. Yeah, so that's the middle border. I'm just heading up to where my hammock normally sits. The hammock is away for the winter. I've got a couple of things in pots. I've got a couple of Sonchus. This is Sonchus canariensis that's done really well. Again, grown from seed. Nice woody stem. Definitely needs a bigger pot next year. But in terms of overwintering, I'll just stick this and this one into the shed in these pots, because into the greenhouse, sorry. I don't have a lot of space. These are all tetrapanax pups I've put into soil. We'll see how they go over winter. They'll be in the greenhouse as well. Probably sell them, maybe give a couple away as giveaways next year. What else to show you in this one? The Paulownia tomentosa is looking very sad at the minute. Yesterday it had more leaves, and they've mostly fallen off now for winter, and that will be it. It will be this stick until February, March time, when it'll start pushing out new growth. And I really hope that it will reach something a little bit higher than this Fargesia ruffia bamboo there. Then that's my Chusquea gigantea. That's the giant Chilean bamboo that does need digging up and overwintering in the greenhouse. I need to think of a better place to put that, because it's going to get too big for that spot. Over in this messy corner of the decking, I've got my jade plants and a few extra agaves. I'll probably put them in the greenhouse as well. 2 degrees is borderline. I think most things will be okay. It might not even frost at 2 degrees, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I can fit things in. I'm just moving across the bridge onto my shady border now. In fact, before I do, let's have a look there. My colocasia pink china didn't do very well, and I will not be digging them up. I'll be leaving them in the ground to do their own thing. But my other idea actually with the colocasia is actually making a colocasia barrel planter. because I've got two. These are my two Gunnera Tinctoria, here and here, and you can see they are well past their best now, and I'm kind of feeling like I don't need two Gunnera. I might sell this one and plant it up with something else like colocasia, but I'll have a little think about that. Got more flowers on the more flowers coming there on the Fatsia. I've got my Euphorbia mellifera down there, which is doing well actually, because I only planted it last year and it quickly got crowded out by everything around it, but hopefully it'll fill this gap here where the cardoons have now been chopped down for the winter. What else have I got going on? Pond is down there, absolutely crowded, but I know the frogs and the newts will be enjoying it in there. I haven't seen any because it's too crowded. If anyone can tell me what this is that I planted last year, I would love to know, as I can't remember. Yeah, panning around the garden now. You've probably watched a video recently, if you're a subscriber, on the desert bed, the Arid bed. And there are plenty of videos on the channel to talk about this, but just a quick overview on this video. So everything in the bed will stay in the bed. I might add a side panel here and a few more anchor points that people have suggested, and maybe I'll wrap up a few other more tender things in there, but everything's going to be left as it is. Mostly, you can see down there I've got some new Echeveria glaucus, I think that is, and then I've got another, if you just have a look there, Apuntia shearii. Now I did get one from Jack at Yorkgate that I've planted. It was an unrooted pad through there, you see, and I just put it straight in the gravel. This one rooted flat to the ground as it landed, which I suppose is how they root in the wild. If a pad falls off, that's how it roots. So I've got a few things to go in there. Obviously I don't want to overcrowd it. The Washingtonia robusta, I'm still unsure about. If it dies, I won't be too upset about that, because I've got plenty of agaves ready to go in the greenhouse, which is where we'll head next. Right, before we get into the greenhouse, I have got a few more plants that will probably need to be packed away. My very sorry looking Dendroceras littoralis that has been obliterated by slugs. Hate slugs. And I've got a few more bits and pieces down there. This is a colocasia Thai giant that will need to be packed away, and I'm really gutted that it didn't get damaged in winter, but one of the tubers rotted and it took ages to recover. A couple of solanums down there as well, which are going to go in the greenhouse. And then into the greenhouse I've got my relegated cacti and succulents. These are all ones that I'm trying to get rid of when I can be bothered to put them on eBay or similar. I've got a few Tetrapanax seedlings, not seedlings, pups, offshoots, whatever you want to call them, going there. That's where I'll make my fortune next year, by selling them. And then here we've got my current cactus and succulent collection, including my recent purchases. This is, at the minute, the plant that's bringing me the most joy in the garden. Let me get a good focus on that. There we go, look at that. Aztecium hintoni. Gnarly looking, slow growing plant. Here's another new one, Ariocarpus lloydii. And yeah, just a quick overview of these really, because I have done a recent video specifically on my cacti and succulent collection. So if you're interested in any details about this, do check that out. Got a sad looking graft that failed there. Anyway, that's it from Great Northern Exotic Garden. Please consider subscribing if you're not already, and I'll see you next time.